The only way the ancient astronaut theory can be disproven is when the extraterrestrials show up.
It was what, in the 1950s or whatever, you had that spaceship?
That.
Yeah, that thing that you found in New Mexico.
That.
Roswell, New Mexico, yeah. No, you had the spaceship, and you had the bodies. They were all locked up in a bunker. Where was that? Yeah, Area 51, right? Area 51. You knew then, and you did nothing.
Regardless of what you may have read in the tabloids, there have never been any spacecraft recovered by our government.
Excuse me, Mr. President. That's not entirely accurate.
We're able to create a two-headed dog with 6 legs.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Furries are like bronies without the frontal lobe, without any concept of restraint. Okay. I'm going to watch a bit of this, just because I thought
I got to give full marks to the reporter in that thing, because she really sticks with it. She does a really good job, doesn't ever, like, belittle these people. And it's like, if I could never do that.
Yeah, these guys are really weird.
Yeah.
The internet has done a lot of great and wondrous things, but it has also pulled the rock back from some seriously fucked up stuff.
Okay.
I'm sure this is something like before the internet. There were people like, I feel like I'm a fox.
Yeah.
And, but they did that all to themselves. Maybe they would occasionally, somehow, they put out a sign.
Or have, like, encoded messages on a billboard or somewhere.
Right. So they have, like, secret meetings. But now they've all been, like, allowed to coalesce and have national furry conventions.
Exactly.
I saw some professor talk about the internet, and he was going on about how, like, this invention gives us the ability to make knowledge universal, and instead we use it to look at porn and pictures of funny cats. Like, well,
no, it's the lowest common denominator.
It's like I said a few shows ago that everyone should be a genius now. Mm-hmm. The dumbest person out there should know everything. Yet it's gone the exact opposite direction. The more information we get, the dumber people become. I don't understand it.
People don't need to know things. They just look it up.
But you would think they would want to know things, though, wouldn't you?
And it's relatively new development. Like, even when like Zach and I were younger, if we wanted to know shit, like, I remember being taught how to use an actual encyclopedia.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember, like, Britannia?
Yep.
Like, the first encyclopedias on the computer?
Yep.
That was, like, revolutionary.
Well, you used to get a copy of a disc with an encyclopedia on it with every Windows computer you bought. I can't remember the name of it, but and it was cool.
Now it's Wikipedia, and the thing about Encyclopedia Britannica is that it's actually written by people who know things. Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia can go down the dark side sometimes, but I think as they've become more and more popular and got more and more money and stuff, they become a lot better about
it's not as
backing themselves up.
It's not as entirely unreliable as it used to be.
Right. Sometimes you'll scroll along a thing, and George Washington, killed Abraham Lincoln with a lightsaber. Like, no, we did not.
My favorite is and this is from a book I used to have. I don't know what happened to it. It was a book that it was called, like, the dumbest answers you'll ever see on high school history tests.
Yeah.
And one of them was George Washington defeated the Nazis at Valley Forge to end the War of 1812.
He did. I mean, what's the problem with that answer?
And Abraham Lincoln defeated Napoleon to free the Jews.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the better. That's the thing, though. He gets all the press for the Emancipation Proclamation. Nobody talks about how he freed the Jews, which I think is every bit as important.
Well, switching into real history for a moment, nobody realizes that the Emancipation Proclamation did fuck all to anything.
I know.
Well,
all slaves are freed. Well, only those slaves.
Honestly, though, legally, isn't a presidential proclamation the same thing as saying today is Anaheim Ducks Day? Mm-hmm. I mean, does it carry any more weight than that?
Kind of not. It was more symbolic because it freed the slaves, but it technically only freed the slaves in those areas that were, quote, in rebellion. So, i.e. the Confederacy. So he only freed slaves in territory his government did not at the time control. So, good on you, Abe. There were still slave states that stayed in the Union. Maryland, Delaware, Kentucky begrudgingly stayed in the Union. They didn't want to, but they were forced to.
And let's be honest about it. Even in the free states, it wasn't like being black was a walk in the park. It wasn't like, if we can make it to Ohio, everything will be great. We'll be treated like equals and everything will be wonderful. Bullshit.
No, Martin Luther King once remarked that someone asked him, what's the most racist city you've ever been to? And people expect him to say, Montgomery or Atlanta, or someplace in the South. And he said, no, I think he said Chicago was.
Well, that makes sense.
Most racist city that he'd ever been to.
And Malcolm X used to say that he appreciated the South because at least down there you knew where you stood. Whereas in the North, he said that everything took place behind your back. Boston, and I don't want to beat up on Boston, except that I enjoy beating up on Boston. So I guess I do.
Boston. Fuck that city. Screw the Red Sox. Screw the Patriots. Fuck the Bruins. And I don't really care enough about basketball, but
I'm sure it's better now. But it was a horribly racist city for a very long time.
Ask Jerome McGinley. Or PK Subban. Jerome McGinley was San Jose. When Jerome McGinley back in 2004, when the Flames played the Sharks in the Western Conference Finals, a bunch of Sharks fans held up racist signs in the crowds, and now I think it's happened twice now, where PK Subban has gone beast mode on the Bruins, and Bruins fans on Twitter have just embarrassed themselves.
Yeah.
So
it was PK Subban and Joel Ward when the Capitals knocked out the Bruins.
There aren't many times where I truly feel bad for an athlete making a lot of money, but when that stuff happens, I really do feel horrible for a PK Subban when something like that happens to them, because that's just awful.
PK Subban just responded by going, "Okay, I'll just single-handedly eliminate your team from the playoffs."
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's still why that shit still has to go on. But that's my point. At the North, we can talk about how we were, our better angels and all that shit from the Civil War, but that's nonsense. It's still, goddamn, it's still horribly racist here today. Give me a break. I don't know where I was going with that. I never do know where I'm going anymore. I just talk and shit happens and who knows what all. Anyway.
That's kind of the thing from a historical standpoint. People tend to assume everyone in the South was a warmongering racist and everyone in the North was, an enlightened angel. It's no, not really. And I think I brought it up on the show before, but as racist as the South was in some ways, in other ways, for example, the first Jew to ever serve in an American president's cabinet was Judah P. Benjamin, who was the Secretary of State for the Confederate States of America. Judah. Of course, his name.
I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah,
but it's sort of like
Judah Goldstein.
Judah Goldstein or Judah Leibowitz would have been perfect, but. By the same token, Ulysses S. Grant, when he was making his way through Confederate territory, I think it was in Tennessee, he issued a proclamation saying that any Jewish citizens on the land that his army had conquered were to be evicted from their homes. So, it's not quite as clear-cut. One side irredeemably racist, the other side as pure as the winter snow. So,
speaking of snow, good Lord. Have you guys been following what's happening in Buffalo?
You mean Hoth?
I've got the Tailette Hoth. It's a Star Wars joke.
Yeah, okay. I thought he said Hoth with an F, not Hoth with a TH.
No, Hoth.
Yeah. Hoth is much more. From what I understand, they're supposed to get 2 more feet over the next couple days.
Somebody sent a picture of a street in a suburb where all the cars are covered in snow. The whole thing, there's just these mounds, and you're like, well, what are those bumps? Oh, those are cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just have the roofs peeking up over the.
Or
on Wednesday when the Sabres play the Sharks, Patrick Coletta, or Tuesday, he got scratched from the game, and so on the game sheet it says Patrick Coletta scratch, and in parentheses snow.
Yeah,
he couldn't get out of his house.
Well, have you seen some of the pictures? I mean, people would open their door and it was snow.
Yep.
Yeah. That would freak me out so bad. I would just lose my mind because – and then I thought about it. It's funny, but then you think about it, and what if somebody has a heart attack or something? They are so totally screwed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's no emergency services. I don't know how you dig out of something like this. And then it's supposed to warm up and rain. And you know what that's going to do with 6 feet of snow on top of buildings and garages and stuff? They're going to be collapsing all over the place.
Yeah, they're trying to I know they're trying to get the government to classify it as a national disaster area so that they can get the big guns in there to try and move some of this crap.
I've never understood how people can live there, but now I really don't get it because
this is just the lake effect.
I know.
This is just weird.
We were hit here, not nearly as bad. We got like the tail end. Like, thankfully, Buffalo took the brunt of what was coming. We only got a couple feet here, but
a couple feet.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like 1 or 2. Like nothing that the plows couldn't take care of.
Feet, as in. Like, if you had 3 of them, it would be almost a meter, right? Like that?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, no. It was strange. It was on Monday. Monday was fine, but, like, it started coming down in flurries near the evening. I'm like, oh, this is a bit early for snow, isn't it? I woke up on Tuesday, and I looked out the window, and I'm like, shit, this isn't even December.
That's yeah, and, well, that's the thing with Buffalo is that, I don't know, do you guys get lake effect snow where you're at?
Not to that extent, but we do get we're close enough to Toronto, which is on the lake.
Yeah,
that we get that we do get it. Yes.
When I lived in Syracuse, we got lake effect snow, and the problem with it is that you know you're going to get it, but you never know how much you're going to get because you can't really forecast it. It's not like a front where it's going to move through, dump this much snow and be on its way. The lake effect, as long as the wind's blowing the right way and stuff, it just keeps going and going and going. And I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I was like 6 feet of snow, and they're supposed to get. I mean, that's 8 feet. That's 2 feet taller than I am.
Yeah. That picture just floors me, where the guy's opened his door, and you see the imprint of the door on the wall of snow.
Right.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind. I would literally freak out. I would. It would just be like, I have to get out of here. But then you think about it. Where would you go?
Right, you have nowhere to go.
So
you couldn't get out. You couldn't use the roads.
Okay, so we now know that Greg is easily susceptible to cabin fever.
Absolutely, I would lose my mind. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I would have a total, like, just a complete nutty. I would lose it big time.
Yeah.
And the weirdest part about it, and I've experienced this living up there. Just like they said, you go 5 miles east, and there's like no snow on the ground anywhere. It's just it's just the lake effect thing is the weirdest thing. I remember. I was driving back from Ohio. I'd come home to visit when I was still living up there, and I literally went around a curve on I-90, and it was like I went from a sunny day, about 35 degrees, turned through this curve, and I was in the middle of a blizzard. That's how lake effect snow is. It's crazy. And I don't know, man.
Yeah, that lake effect, man. It just kills.
Shut up.
Yeah. Lake effect to him is like when the breeze is too cold off the ocean or some shit.
It was like 55 degrees today when I got out of class.
Oh, yeah.
You're as bad as my sister-in-law. I talked to her yesterday. She's like, it's freezing down here. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah, it's 62 and it's raining.
You know how cold it was? You know how cold it was today in Fahrenheit up where I'm at? 17 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be that cold here this time of year either.
No, it's not even December.
No, I know.
Polar Vortex 3.
Yeah.
Polar Vortex 3, the re-deadening. Yeah, it's oh god, if that happens again, where like the Arctic just teabags Canada, that's going to be fantastic.
We had Polar Vortex 1, and then
it came back.
Polar Vortex 2,
Electric Boogaloo, right? Exactly.
So now we have Polar Vortex 3, Return to the Vortex.
Oh, that would be a good, glorious tournament of victory. Polar Vortex versus Sharknado.
Hey. Now we're on to something. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, so someone should write that down for.
Crazy Weather Conference. It's getting a boost in the rankings with these latest developments.
Well, you know, it's
really strengthening their schedule.
I was just going to say they've toughened up their schedule, and we're seeing some real performances. I mean, geez, the Polar Vortex with the snow in Buffalo, man, oh man.
I'm just saying, Polar Vortex 1 year, the next year. I'm seeing a full-on snowstorm in November, and Buffalo is under a snow pile, and I'm like, okay. Global warming. Maybe we might have overblown that a tad.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah, I know. When people say global warming, they mean weather change. Like
change. The most unfortunately named thing ever is global warming because that's not what it means.
The other thing is because this would actually happen with global warming because global warming means the ice caps melt, which means that all that ice goes into the water, which means the water gets colder, which means the temperature actually drops.
Mm-hmm. My big question is, when does the global warming attack New York like Mothra, like that one movie?
Like
the day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow, was that ever just a cinematic masterpiece? That movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, only the best from Roland Emmerich.
But the thing about that movie is that it would have been a fun, entertaining bullshit movie if it weren't for the wolves. The wolves, to me, are just it was a bridge too far. Were the wolves? If they left that out,
step up. The wolves were a step up. Do you know what the original script of that movie said that scene was supposed to be?
Oh God, I'm not even sure I want to know. But go ahead.
Instead of wolves chasing them down, I'm not shitting you. It said they were running away from global warming.
Global warming isn't an entity like Mothra?
Yes.
Boy.
Like there would have been like this frigid Arctic blast of air that was like killing everything, chasing them down the hallway, and like, it's concentrated global warming.
Oh God. Wow. Yeah. The wolves probably were a better choice, sadly. But yeah, that was one of those, like an Armageddon, Independence Day type movie where it's just a hoot to watch, and but
I love those movies. I mean, hell, we had Armageddon this week, right? We landed on the comet.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we're going to have to send Bruce Willis up there.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, it doesn't count, though, because we didn't send Steve Buscemi and Bruce Willis. And Ben Affleck.
And Clark Duncan.
Yeah, and him too. And who were some of the other? There was a lot of big names in that movie. Oh, Billy Bob Thornton, but he was at NASA.
Billy Bob Thornton actually called that the worst movie he's ever done.
Yeah.
What was that?
Armageddon.
Armageddon. Really?
Which I like Armageddon.
So do I.
Like,
yeah.
It is unapologetically Hollywood, and I like it for that. I love the ending where he's like, tell her that I love her. You tell her yourself. And then he throws him back in the...
I was like, God damn it, Bruce Willis.
Like, oh, that's awesome. Apparently, a funny story about that, Michael Bay, when he was the director for that one, Ben Affleck on set, like, asked him, like, of course, the plot is they train drillers how to be astronauts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he asked Michael Bay on set, he goes, hey, Michael, wouldn't it actually be easier to train astronauts to drill? And Michael Bay looked at him for like a second and then said, shut up.
Yeah.
And walked away.
You know what, though? If these guys I can't believe I'm about to have a serious conversation about the plot of Armageddon, but I'm going to. If you think about it, if those guys with the drill rigs were as good as they were made out to be, I think it would have been easier to train them to be astronauts. Because really all they had to do was strap in and ride the damn space shuttle up to the asteroid, right?
They brought actual astronauts to be the pilots of the space shuttles.
It wasn't like Bruce Willis had to take Columbia up there.
And the guy had the gun in space. And I remember that because Steve Buscemi was like, why do you have a gun in space?
Yeah. I don't remember. Why did he have the gun?
He was just the asshole astronaut character, so of course he had a gun. And another great thing about that movie was when Steve Buscemi gets space dementia.
Oh, I was just going to bring that up. That was so awesome.
But
we've got front row tickets to the end of the world, man. Come on.
The thing I remember about Armageddon was that it and then the movie Deep Impact came out like a month from each other. Right. And Deep Impact was going for like really like, this is super serious, guys. And then Armageddon was like, Bruce Willis is gonna nuke an asteroid.
with Steven Tyler singing in the background,
right? Yeah. And like they would ever let Liv Tyler hang around at Mission Control in Houston and run up and grab the flight director and throw him down and go, "That's my father. That's my family." I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's the unrealistic part of the movie. That's what I had a problem with.
That's
Liv Tyler
being line.
Yeah, Liv Tyler and Mission Control. I'm like, no, that would never happen in real life.
So another funny Armageddon story. I actually went to space camp when I was like 12.
Awesome, really?
Yeah.
Space camp.
A friend of mine was going, and then like my friend was like, "Hey, do you want to go?" And I was like, "Okay." And it's actually funny because your like last day there, they make you do like this interview where they ask you stuff like, "Why did you want to come to space camp?" And kids are like, "I want to be an astronaut." Honestly, my only reason was my friend wanted to go and I thought it sounded cool. But for some reason, I didn't want to say that. So when they got me up in front of the camera, they're like, "Why did you go? Why did you come to space camp?" I'm like, "I didn't have anything else to do this week."
Oh man.
So and then they gave those tapes to like the parents of the kids, and so my mom watched it. She's like, "I don't think they're going to use yours in the promotional material."
Probably not. Was it cool though? Was it fun?
Oh, it was a blast. It was definitely cool. But the thing about space camp was there was one day where it rained. We were supposed to do some activity outside, but we couldn't because it was raining. So they got us all into like the main area, and they brought out like a TV, and they put in Armageddon. And then the lead instructor there spent the entire movie pausing it at certain points to point out all the scientific inaccuracies.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm like 12 at the time. I'm like, you're ruining Armageddon.
It was on HBO the other day, and I have this thing where I have my iPad, I go to IMDb and go, okay, let me learn about Armageddon, like the trivia. Mm-hmm. NASA actually uses that movie as an example of how not to do things. Like, okay, we're going to watch this, and this is all the things that you should never do in this situation. Yeah, but it was a fun movie.
The big one I actually remember was that there's no way that you could actually launch 2 space shuttles next to each other.
Oh, God, no.
Because apparently, like, the sonic blasts from the engines would destroy one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, taking off right next to each other like that, you would never do that.
Or, I think when someone was, like, piloting the space shuttle through asteroid debris, like, the space shuttle is not that maneuverable, or... Like, it's not an F-22, guys.
They were flying it like it was a jet in outer space, and the reality is that if you had the main engines on like they did in that, there's no way you could steer it the way they were steering it, because they got these little RCS controls that, like little blasts that just kind of move it. And yeah, there was a lot of problems with it.
Space shuttle is actually one of the most unaerodynamic flying machines out there.
Well, and the other incredibly realistic movie, Space Cowboys, with Clint Eastwood and Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay, I actually do love that movie.
So do I. But as Clint Eastwood said, it's like flying a brick. Or one of the guys said that, yeah. I don't know. I loved Armageddon. I love Space Cowboys and Sumo.
I love both of those movies. The one I'm not fond of, Deep Impact. Did not care for that.
Never seen it. Had no interest in it whatsoever. Never saw it.
I saw both it and Armageddon in theaters, one right after the other. And the one thing I remember about Deep Impact, 2 things I remember. One, Morgan Freeman was the president.
Right.
So he beat out Barack Obama by a couple of years there.
Yeah.
And then there was like some stupid scene where they were getting people into underground bunkers to survive. Yeah. And then like some guy went back. He was like, "No, you go." He was like, he's going to his family, like, "You go. I'll catch up later." And then he had to like go back into the city to. It was like some contrived reason, but there was absolutely no reason for him to actually leave his family. It was just really stupid. Again, I haven't seen this movie since it came out, so it's been probably 20 years or so.
Unlike Armageddon, which actually shows up on cable, this one disappeared.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of it.
Well, because Armageddon, okay, it's wildly inaccurate, but you know what? It's a fun time.
Yeah. Like you said, you're watching Bruce Willis and a bunch of people go up and blow up an asteroid, drill a hole in it, and blow it up with a nuke. Yeah, that's fun stuff. What was the John Cusack one, the End of the World? Oh, 2012, yeah.
Yeah.
I did not see that because by the time that one came out, I had already realized that Roland Emmerich had lost his goddamn mind.
Well, I'm telling you guys, missed a real masterpiece, let me tell you.
Did I?
Yeah.
I've actually heard, I did see someone who did a review of it. Apparently in that movie, the bad guy has a point because he's like, "I'm trying to save as many people as I can," and John Cusack's like, "No!" It's one of those movies where you watch it and you're like, "Hey, the bad guy actually has a point."
Yeah, the bad guy was what's his name? Oliver Platt.
Yeah,
was the bad guy in it. Yeah, it was. Well, okay. Hard as this is to believe, it was more stupid than Day After Tomorrow.
Really?
It made Day After Tomorrow look like The Godfather by comparison.
So I'm curious. Did they actually explain what was going to happen to cause the world to blow up, or was it just like Mayans said in 2012, so world ends?
It was.
Wasn't it something about like the Earth's core or like?
Well, yeah, it was the global warming thing again. Yeah, and it was something that these scientists had discovered, and it was like in 20, 30 years, whatever, and then it's like, oh my God, we did the math wrong. It's going to happen tomorrow, type of thing, and that's what it was. Yeah.
I don't think that would happen. Like, I don't think scientists would just be like, "Oh, holy shit, we were wrong.
There was a rounding error.
Yeah, I forgot to carry the 1."
That's basically what it was. It was like, wait, we've miscalculated. Oh, fuck, the world's going to end tomorrow instead of in 20 years. Yeah.
Like, I don't think science works that way.
Well, yeah. Odds are that a limo driver is not going to end up saving the world, basically. Well, saving what was left of the world, I should say. Yeah. A limo driver and a Chinese farmer. And... I'm not kidding.
Okay, at least in Independence Day, it was a computer programmer and a jet fighter.
But you know what?
Pilot, so it was like, okay, those two have a set of skills that if they came together the right way, all right.
Yeah, a limo driver who happened to write a book that I guess just happened to be about I don't remember anymore. It was so mind-numbingly stupid. But Independence Day, I just read this the other day on IMDb, and You know, everybody who says, how did Jeff Goldblum's computer, how was it able to upload a virus?
Yeah, because it's a MacBook and it hacked like
But
an
here's the
alien
thing.
ship.
I guess it was a scene that was left out of the movie where it was explained that all of our technology was based on the technology we had gotten from the crash.
That's right, because they mentioned it was Roswell.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So when you put
All
it
right,
in that
plot hole
context,
closed.
yeah, makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, okay. And the seatbelts, just one other thing about Independence Day. The seatbelts were there because we put them in there for our guys. It wasn't like the aliens had seatbelts, so fuck off with that too. But anyway,
something I learned recently regarding Roswell. Apparently, my grandfather subscribes to that theory that the reason that technology has exploded so much in the last 50 years was because of he thinks that there actually was maybe a spacecraft that we hacked.
Now,
which is something I learned recently that he believed. And I'm like, really?
Now I will have
you think this?
I will have you know, as a fan of the Transformers series, that all modern technology was derived from the body of Megatron, who was found at the North Pole.
Yes.
I think I don't think that
by Shia LaBeouf.
By Shia LaBeouf's grandfather.
I think it's a distinct possibility that I mean I don't know about the technology thing, but did something crash out there? I mean, come on, it was on the front page of their newspaper. And you work in journalism. Does that? I mean, would you go with we've got a crash flying saucer unless you had it cold? No, you wouldn't.
I don't know. Maybe not in Roswell, New Mexico, in the 50s.
I'm just saying.
48, technically.
Oh, well, yeah, either
47
way.
if we're going to get technical, but yeah.
Oh, was it 47?
47, yeah.
I think it was 48. Nah, whatever.
Anyway. But I don't believe in any of that shit.
Except for the stuff that you do.
Except for all of it, yeah.
Except for all of it, yeah.
I don't believe in any of it except most of it.
With me, it's most of it. The Ancient Aliens guys, they go a little too far for my taste, but yeah.
I've actually been on a binge watching Ancient Aliens lately. They had one about the Sphinx, and they're like, nobody knows why this thing was built. And I'm like, yeah, except for all of the historians and archaeologists who, have researched this, but whatever. But then they had this one guy, like they found a tomb beneath the Sphinx. And they found in this tomb an empty sarcophagus. There was an inscription that said, like, here lies Anubis, the god of death. And so, most historians and archaeologists are like, well, this is a symbolic tomb for the god of death in the ancient Egyptian religion. But I'm watching this Ancient Alien show on the Sphinx, and they're going, the existence of a tomb without a body opens up the possibility of a transportation device.
Oh, for Pete's sake. That's my issue with that show. Everything, it's always prefaced with ancient astronaut theorists suggest. Well, yeah, it's like the old thing from JFK. Yeah, I can suggest that you can hang an elephant over a cliff with his tail tied to a daisy. Theoretically, I suppose it's possible, but come on. But yeah, I think there was something happening in Roswell because, like I said, they put it on the front page of the newspaper, and even back then, especially back then, I would think that's not something you're going to go, oh, there was a flying saucer crashed out there. Okay, we'll run with it. They had it cold. I think the government stepped in and told them, yeah, no, we can't do this. I absolutely believe it.
The winless Oakland Raiders.
Uh-oh.
Are leading the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Are you serious?
14-3.
Oh, my God.
At the 2-minute warning of the
unless I am mistaken, today is Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Thursday night football is this
And
way.
it's pouring rain in Oakland.
Oh, boy.
So, as you can imagine, how a game at the O.Co Coliseum, not great in the first place.
Has the sewage leaked onto the field yet?
It's indistinguishable at this point. Could be the same thing.
Could be the team. Easily mistaken for each other. Yes, Mike.
I suppose this is as good a time as any to announce that I am back watching the NFL.
Are you really?
I decided to do this after the NFL came down and said that Adrian Peterson is out for the rest of the season, regardless of without pay, the legal thing. And the way that it came down, it was like, all right, I stuck to my guns. But, at a certain point, I had to say, well, what can they do to get me back?
Right.
And the thing that came to my mind was they can show that they're actually taking this seriously and they're going to try to improve things in the future. And this was a step in the right direction. So for the moment, I'm back as an NFL observer. And, coming back from my long hiatus, I see the Browns were for a week atop the the AFC North, and I'm not sure how that happened.
The AFC North has been on top of the AFC North.
Yeah, the AFC North is basically like a gangbang at this point. First place being the woman in this particular analogy. Yeah,
I'm watching. Yeah, I kind of just look let's see where the NFL is at now, and I see that, and then I see, holy shit! I'm now my first proclamation as a returning fan to the NFL. I am pulling for a 6-10 division winner in the NFC South. I want to see that happen.
It's probably going
entirely
to.
possible.
Yeah.
I think someone worked it out where it's like it's unlikely, but it is possible that the division winner can be 5-11.
I was reading an article on Grantland the other day, and I think that there's a 30. They did like the whole where they ran all these simulations. It's like a 36% chance that the winner will be 6-10 Atlanta. So it's definitely it's definitely out there as a possibility.
The thing that we realized with Atlanta too, they're 4-6. All 4 wins have come against the division.
Yeah.
Oh, so are they going to do with that thing the Raiders did a couple of years back, where
they went undefeated in the division, missed the playoffs? Yeah, entirely possible.
Yeah,
but yeah. This and not to mention when you left the NFL, your Chargers were probably the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that you've come back, they're one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Hey, now
that's all subject to change.
I saw that they beat Oakland, so.
Well, yeah, that's an accomplishment 50 years ago.
I don't know, whatever. I'm just going to say, to echo a point that you made, Greg, on the last episode of Basically a Football Show, Alex Smith over Colin Kaepernick at this point.
I don't know how you say otherwise, really. So, I don't know.
I have never liked Colin Kaepernick. Always thought he was overhyped, and now I think that's become evident. So.
I think if I'm the San Francisco 49ers right now, I would rather have him at quarterback. You've got a much different season going on.
But I will say, my Chargers kind of sticking up the place, although only a game behind the 2 division winners, so there's still a chance to turn that around.
What are they, 6-4?
6-4, and the other ones are, and Denver and Kansas City is 7-3. And Kansas City's losing tonight, so you never know. But I've still got my fallback team, my Cardinals.
Yeah.
What are they, 9-1?
9-1.
9-1 minus Carson Palmer now.
Yeah. But as I said on the football show, I don't think that's going to hurt them that bad because they don't have the kind of offense that they need a great quarterback. They just need a guy that's not going to kill them.
True.
But speaking of great predictions, we did okay on the college football playoff, didn't we?
We did. I have the rankings in front of me.
Yeah, we well, I'm not going to brag, except that, I'm going to brag. We got it exactly right, folks.
Yeah, well, you got it more right than me. You said Alabama number 1. I said Oregon number 1, but...
Oh, did you? Oh, well, whatever.
Well, it's right there. Alabama is your number 1 team in the country after beating number 5 Mississippi State, who now doesn't drop out of the top 4, like the both of us said.
Yep.
And they stay at 4. They're still in the playoff contention. Oregon is 2. Florida State, despite winning and being the only undefeated team of the real big teams, Marshall is somewhere, but not. Marshall hasn't beat anyone.
They were in that one movie with Matthew McConaughey that I liked.
Yeah, but Florida State stays at 3 because they should have lost at least 6 times this year.
At least, yeah. I won't go 6, but I say they should be right now. What are they? What's their record?
They're 10-0.
They should be 6-4 right now. I really believe that. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: let's say Florida State loses next week,
right?
Hypothetically,
sure.
If they lose, are they out of the top 4 entirely?
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
I drop them down to 8 or 9.
Yeah, because they don't have. I don't know that they have a real strong case to be, other than they're undefeated and defending national champs. But other than that, I don't think they have a real strong case to be in the top 4 now.
Because the teams they play left are not ranked, and the only ranked team they would play is in the ACC title game, and that's either Georgia Tech, Duke, Clemson, I believe.
Right. I was going to put all that together tonight, and I forgot. Oh well.
Now, I have I have a suggestion on how they can really ensure that the top 4 teams are truly the best in the country.
Okay.
How's that?
Just take 4 SEC teams, put them in the playoff, and
we'll give them 2. At this point, unless something really strange happens, they're going to get 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I just think it would be hilarious if, the first year of the playoffs, the finals were 2 SEC teams.
The only reason, Well, and the other thing right now is that the two SEC teams would play in the first round in the Sugar Bowl, which the Sugar Bowl would love.
Oh my
That's
God!
in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, at New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that's stopping this from happening is if the committee just decides to make it so, and not have two SEC teams in. If they say, well, we only want conference champions, so then I could see a situation where it's the same as it is right now. Let's say, and then we go into the final week, and they're like, well, we don't really want two SEC teams, so congratulations, TCU, Ohio State, or Baylor. You're the fourth team.
You're assuming though that we end up with that all these teams end up at the end of the season with just one loss, which I don't know if that's definitely going to happen at this point.
But I mean, we're close to the end though. I mean, Alabama has, Western Carolina,
and then Auburn,
and then the SEC title game. Mississippi State has, I think they have a week off, and then they play Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl.
Right.
And then if Alabama loses, then they go to the SEC title game. But again, maybe not. Oregon, I think their only shot to lose would probably be in in the Civil War or.
I'm talking about two SEC teams.
SEC teams.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then it would just be Alabama or Mississippi State.
Right. I don't think you're going to get two because it's just. I don't know, man. It's going to be really tough to if you've got a Baylor sitting out there with one loss, who's a conference champion, and Ohio State with one loss, that's a conference champion. TCU. It's going to be real tough to justify leaving out a conference champion, to put in an SEC team that didn't win anything.
But if you're going to do that and say we're only going to do national conference champions, then why not? Then what? Why dispense with this whole? Why not just dispense with this whole ranking business, this whole committee business, and just make a playoff system based off of the champions of the major conferences?
Who's been advocating that for years now? I know.
Why not just do that? If you're going to say if there's all this speculation about what the committee the committee may only want conference champions. Well, if they're only going to want conference champions, why don't we just do conference champions?
But the flip side of that coin to me is that if Mississippi State, if they both end up at what would Mississippi State be 11-1, Alabama would be winning if they won the SEC be 12-1. It'd be kind of hard to argue that Ohio State is better than Mississippi State, even though Ohio State won the Big Ten, because the Big Ten's not as strong a conference. You've run the crucible of the SEC West to get to that point. I can't argue that the Big Ten's better than that, so maybe we do see it. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
I don't know.
I think we're still a long way off before there's going to be some chaos coming up here. It's going to be great. And
I want every team in the top four to lose at least two more times.
I tell you who I like as a dark horse in this thing, and we talked about it on the show, Zach. I think Georgia could really screw up a whole lot of things here in this thing.
Yeah, I mean, because Georgia should make it to the SEC title game unless they lose to Georgia Tech. I think is the only game they have left.
They should have two left. Let's see here. They've got Tech, I know for sure. Oh, Charleston Southern. Okay, that's Greg's school that he did not know existed until 30 seconds ago of the day today.
Right.
Charleston
So
Southern.
They've played all their SEC games.
Yes.
That's all you need to know is they've played all their SEC games.
Yep.
So they're gonna get to the SEC title game. So it's if they could beat someone in the SEC title game, but here's the interesting thing. So Georgia's at 10.
Right.
Say they beat number 1 Alabama.
Okay.
In the SEC title game, but everybody else that's ahead of Georgia right now wins out. I think the only team that couldn't do that, one of the Mississippi schools would have to lose.
Right.
And either UCLA or Oregon would have to lose.
If Georgia wins out where they're standing right now, and if Georgia does what you said, and everybody else wins out, they're not going to get in. I don't think.
But see,
they didn't play.
Georgia Tech's number 18, so that they get a little boost from that, and then they would play either the number 1 or number 2 team in the country.
Right.
Does that put them into the top 4? You would think that the committee would just say, "Well, SEC, move them up."
Yeah. What's still bothering me though is Baylor is still ranked behind TCU.
That'll change in 2 weeks once Baylor plays Kansas State.
I hope. Because that's kind of
it should. If it doesn't, and because Baylor beat TCU and they hold the tiebreaker, and they would be the Big 12 champions. If TCU makes it in and Baylor doesn't, then there's your first real problem with the system.
Right. I think it's done pretty good so far, though, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when they didn't just automatically give Florida State the number 1 spot because they're undefeated.
Right. And when the rankings came out this week, everything kind of landed exactly where I figured it would. The only thing that was surprising to me was that Minnesota was still number 25. And USC jumped all the way into the rankings at 19 and Missouri at 20. But besides that, everything else is pretty much in line with what it should be.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think UCLA still ranked too highly, but
I think that's just the matter of circumstance.
Lay off UCLA now. They've already been beaten and battered. You can
whatever. Hopefully they lose this weekend to SC, and then it won't matter.
It just cracks me up, though. I mean, I don't think we've gotten anything right in the NFL this year. I mean,
oh god, we're so wrong.
We're
so wrong.
I recently re-listened to your preseason predictions. I really like the Buccaneers this season.
Oh my God!
We did say that, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't just miss. I mean, we missed spectacularly.
Although the Saints were our Super Bowl picks.
Mm-hmm.
Although, in your defense, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are only 2 games out of the division lead.
Well, see, I think we said they're going to be better. They might make a playoff run. See, they can still make a playoff run theoretically. I mean, it's not impossible. What are they, 2-8 right now or something like that?
2-6. They're 2 games out of the lead.
They could actually, if they win every game the rest of the way. But football. If we had a batting average in the NFL, it'd be like 120, and in college we're like 95% right. I don't know what the difference is, but we seem to know college football pretty well. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. NFL officiating is wonky. Maybe that.
Yeah, I think we got caught up in all the hype that it's this thing where if a team's really horrible, but they show signs the previous year, yep, they're going to make the next step this year. None of them really did.
Well, here's another example of why the NFL's strange. So the Raiders, they're leading 14-3 at half.
Mm-hmm.
Their running back has 4 rushes for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Name the running back.
I don't know. What the fuck was their running back's name? Is that Maurice Jones-Drew? Who's there?
No,
he's talking about Latavius Murray. Come on.
Yeah.
I did not know that. He just popped up on the screen.
This is a league where Latavius Murray can have a breakout game, or like last Sunday, where what was his name?
Jonathan Gray.
It wasn't Jonathan Gray. It was Jonas Gray. A practice squad guy not even 2 weeks ago can carry the ball 37 times for 4 touchdowns against the Colts in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I don't know who these people are.
Exactly. This is a strange league where weird things happen sometimes. This is a league where the Steelers are 7-4, but they've lost to Tampa Bay and the Jets.
And the Browns.
Don't
let that 6-4 record of the Browns fool you. That they're not that good.
I want the Browns to make the playoffs just to spite you. you keep like being like the downer Browns fan. No, they suck. They're going to lose.
I don't think they suck.
Okay. So despite him, you want his favorite team to succeed. That'll show him.
Yeah.
Once they win the Super Bowl, then he'll really be pissed.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I really think it might be time to take a look at Johnny Manziel.
That's what I was going to say. I've always liked Johnny football. I like my athletes to be kind of arrogant and cocky because I don't know, the whole humble athlete thing has really become a course.
Yeah,
just jump the shark. I think that's something especially for us because we're hockey fans, right?
Yeah.
How many guys? Oh yeah, we just went out there, play hard, get the pucks deep.
Because they're all from Western Canada, and they're all just.
The whole team we just played really hard out there, and coach told us to play hard, and we did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of a single guy in hockey. Now you guys would probably know better than I would. I can't think of a single player in hockey that is arrogant like that. Milan
Lucic to an extent.
What about? Sean Avery was
occasionally.
Sean Avery was considered.
We don't have Sean Averys anymore.
But I'm saying, was he? I mean, he was a jerk. But was he look at me, I'm great type of jerk, or was he just an asshole?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't like a diva kind of guy. He was just an ass.
No. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Maybe the last guy really like that was probably Jeremy Roenick.
Yeah. Yeah. Last I saw of Jeremy Roenick, he was trying to be the American version of Don Cherry, but
Yeah. Well, no, that's Mike Milbury.
is that?
Milbury's awful. I hate listening to him.
You know what? And I've said it before. I'm just going to make it like a weekly thing on the show. I miss Ron McLean. I miss Ron. You're not Ron.
That's a great meme. Good job, Canada, on that meme. I like that meme.
Strombo took his place, right?
Yeah,
Strombolopoulos.
Strombo and his
Who's only a half step ahead of Gian Gameshi.
Yeah, which makes me worried because they're like the same person basically.
Yeah, but I hope Strombo hasn't got Big Teddy and all that.
Big Ears Teddy.
Big Ears Teddy can't see this.
Oh, God.
But you know what's funny about Strombo was when I had Mitch LaFong on the Classic Rockcast, I asked him, I said, how do you pronounce his name? And this is a guy, he's from fucking Montreal. He goes, I don't know. It's like 23 vowels, and I don't know how to pronounce it. And I thought, even Canadians don't know how to pronounce his damn name.
My best guess is Strombaopoulos.
Okay.
You got to slow down. Like, you can't rush through it. Once you get to Stromba, you got to slow down and then just go the Opolis. That's the best way to do it.
Strombaopoulos.
That's the best I can do. Otherwise, I just get tongue-tied.
Yeah, but I thought, I know two Canadians, and neither one of them can pronounce his name.
It's like...
Oh, yeah. Did you see Strombo there?
Yeah, exactly. We just say Strombo, and it just...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like any hockey thing. You just shorten it.
Except, like,
Strombo, Stromzy.
But I don't know. The whole sensitive dude bro thing is just. I miss Ron. Ron was down to earth. Ron knew hockey. I miss Ron.
We need a hockey guy in there. I mean, Strombo may know hockey. I don't know, but he doesn't strike me as a hockey guy. That's the problem.
He's a Habs fan.
Yeah, it's real hard to be the fan of the team with 24 Stanley Cups. But
since 90.
That's 93.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, yeah, but no, Strombo was a hockey fan, like I'm a hockey fan. Like, okay, he's Canadian, he's a hockey fan, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just because the stuff that he's done before this, he's never really had a sports.
Well, that's
centric thing. Like he's always been about
interviewed
music.
Sports guys on his shows, but he's never hosted a sports show.
Yeah, so it just seems like a weird fit, and I've always gotten the impression that like he's a hockey fan. Like if you went down to a bar where I'm at, like if you went to a bar in like Waterloo and found some guys watching a game, like he's a hockey fan, like they're hockey fans.
You know what it reminds me of? Actually, now that I think about it, it would be like if they switched out Dan Patrick for Ryan Seacrest.
Exactly.
That's what because
Seacrest might be
shows and he's a good interviewer. And he might be a big football fan,
but he doesn't have the credibility. Breaking news, gentlemen: the Jets-Bills game will be played Monday at 7:00 in Detroit, so they will not have a game in Buffalo this weekend.
Okay. Speaking about this whole Buffalo snow situation, we know that Ralph Wilson Stadium is about as old as their recently deceased Ralph Wilson was. Is it possible that now that they've got new ownership, wealthy new ownership, that maybe we see a new stadium? Because I've got to think, look, I'm all for natural football in the elements, hard nose, that kind of thing. That's all cool and that's fine. But this has really kind of shown that maybe Buffalo is one of those places where you just need a dome.
But here's I think
because even if it was a dome, they wouldn't play this game.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of the fact that it's just the weather. I don't think that they're just not going to be, especially with 2 more feet of snow on the way, they're not going to be dug out of this thing enough to have a game. Even you could have had it in somebody's basement, and I don't think you could have pulled it off. Yeah, but I see your point though. Buffalo, you can make a good argument that they need a dome stadium. But then again,
you can make an argument for any cold weather city, but that's part of the home field advantage of having playing in a cold weather city.
Honestly, and think back about it too. I mean, how many times do you remember snow really being a factor in a Bills game? Other than this, obviously, but I mean, where it was like, wow, this is just unplayable because it's I don't remember any.
No, I mean those type of games don't even come along all that often. The last one I can even remember was Titans and Patriots.
Yeah,
and then there was the Eagles and Lions too,
and
2 years ago.
And Browns-Bills a couple years back, they had a crazy snow game like that. But yeah, for the most part, it doesn't really play that big a factor in things.
Right. I mean, you could play through it. Like this particular snowstorm is an aberration.
This is like a biblical snowstorm.
I have to admit, this was the kind of snowstorm I was hoping for the Super Bowl last year in New York.
Oh, my God. That would have been the best thing. Oh, that would have been so funny.
Imagine if it's like, oh, it's a snowstorm, we can't play.
Yeah.
Play on Monday.
Like, if this was the week of the Super Bowl a year ago, that would have been fantastic. Just like, hey, game's on Sunday, and it's still coming down.
And you know what's cool about this is that I will be able to watch this game on Monday, while you guys will not be able to.
What's that?
Because I have NFL Sunday Ticket. It's only going to be local markets, so I'll be able to see it.
Well, actually, big news, Greg.
Uh-oh.
My family is part of the DirecTV family.
Well, congratulations and welcome aboard. Welcome to the 21st century.
I actually did order NFL Sunday Ticket through Rogers one year because I kind of just wanted to experience what it would be like to get every NFL game. And this was years ago. I haven't gotten it since, but it was a cool experience. It was cool to be like any football game I want. It was a liberating one, too, because I'm usually stuck with Bills, Jets, or Lions games.
That's precisely why I got it, because think about where I live. What was I stuck with every Sunday?
Browns.
Right.
Browns, Bengals.
And you can be a Browns fan all day long, but there comes a point where you just go, I want to watch real NFL football.
Oh.
But, yeah, well, I used to have it set up where I would have the Browns. Well, I do that now, too. I have the Browns game on the TV. And then I'll either have one of the other games on my iPad or on one of the computers, and I watch that way. Once I got my Packers stock, I had to be able to watch my team every week.
Yeah, I mean,
at least on the weeks
fire your
right on the weeks that I can't make it to my luxury box at Lambeau, I have to be able to see my team. So that's why I did it. Yeah.
By the way, this game has to be a early contender for the top spot in Greg's power rankings.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot to do those this week.
Oh, Dennis isn't there. Never mind.
Thank God for small miracles, huh?
But just not so much breaking news, just me being happy. The Toronto Maple Leafs are currently leading the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-1. So
it's not 8-0.
Are you sure? Well, wait a minute. Now, hold on. Are you sure? It could be the other way around, and you just can't tell.
No. I've got the scoreboard on right now, and you know what? Sorry, Tampa, but Toronto got bitch slapped 2 games in a row, and you were who they were going to take their aggression out on.
Ooh, look at my gold diggers. I figured I'd take a look real quick. I'm winning again. I might go over 500 this week. But
hey, the CHL East is where the big boys play.
That's right. Zach can make fun of us all he wants to, but you know what? It's because we're like the SEC West. We're just beating hell out of each other.
Beating up on each other.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? Your luck's going to run out, Chief.
Are
you still undefeated?
Yes, I am.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's going to be riddled with injuries to slow him down like happened last year.
I know. Last year, I went through my injury already. I got Sergei Bobrovsky back, and I have to take him off IR here in a minute.
Yeah, I forgot to take Corey Perry off for 2 days. I was like, oh my God! And I think he had a pretty good game one of those 2 nights, but he's back now.
But yeah, and as long as Stamkos doesn't break his leg again, I'll be fine. Oh damn. The Ducks game was about to start, and there's a website where I go to watch it, and the stream is not available in my country.
In your country?
Yeah, that's weird.
Wow. Holy shit, the Raiders, second half started, they're just back out running all over the Chiefs again.
Yeah.
This is a contender for one of my top. I will do the list this week. I completely forgot. And then I remember this morning, I thought, I can't do it on Thursday. That's just way too much after the fact, so we'll skip a week.
Oh, no, wait, here we go. Somebody added a couple links. Anyway, yeah, I need to watch this game because it's Ryan Kessler's first game back in Vancouver, and I expect him to be heartily booed.
Oh, he probably will be because they're all classless there.
You know who is full of class? Speaking of your Maple Leafs, Mike.
Uh-oh.
Did you see what the Maple Leafs fans
I read this on your Facebook feed, and I think this was very cool.
Yes, the national anthem.
Right, because things weren't going well for everyone at Air Canada Centre even before the game started.
No.
The microphone went out on the anthem singer, and it was during the Star Spangled Banner. Of course, this game's in Toronto, so people, the people of Toronto found it within themselves to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
The saddest part of this story is this. Do you know that if this happened in the United States, that 90% of the people in the building wouldn't know the words? And the Canadians did.
Well, they also put the words up on the end boards.
Yeah, I'm going to get. I think our Canadian brethren, though, I think they knew it already. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on that.
Well, who wouldn't know the Star Spangled Banner, Greg? You could go to Bosnia and they could sing the Star Spangled Banner.
I'm looking at it from a different perspective, and the Canadians are just that respectful. Not that we're all that.
I mean,
although we are back-to-back World War champions, and you can't take that.
World War champions.
Can't take that away from us.
I've always thought "America the Beautiful" was the better song, personally.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, maybe, but
the Star Spangled. I'm going to humble brag right now. We're just we're a very nice people.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I agree.
And yeah, I just like seeing that. It's nice when you see stuff from your fellow country people who.
Yeah, you guys do stuff like that, and we have Honey Boo Boo on television down here. That's
no. After Ottawa, Pittsburgh sang.
That's true.
Canada.
Yeah. Well, it's hockey, but you would never see that at any other sport in the U.S. Hockey, of course, because hockey fans are just a notch above.
Well, we all have tragically Canadian sensibilities, as Mike once said.
Hey, yes. I got a question. Okay, I don't know if anybody saw any highlights from the Rangers Flyers game last night.
No.
Did you guys see the jerseys the Flyers were wearing yesterday?
Yeah.
Their Winter Classic throwbacks.
Is that what those were? Okay, I didn't know what they were. I wanted to know what those were.
Well, they're faux backs because those aren't actually based on an actual jersey they wore, but they're made to look vintage.
Okay.
They're kind of sort of based on the Philadelphia Quakers.
Kind of,
sort of, maybe.
And I just don't like it for the Flyers because, I don't know. It's a traditional hockey sweater, and the Flyers have never had a traditional sweater before. So,
yeah.
They've always had the contrasting sleeves and kind of a progressive design. To me, that just doesn't work for them. And the vintage white doesn't look that great next to orange.
No, it didn't work at all. I thought. I agree. I'm on the NHL's main page here, and I got to say that these Ducks jerseys are starting to grow on me a little bit. There's a picture.
The white ones?
No, the dark ones, black ones.
In my opinion, the white ones aren't that great, if only because I don't like the Ducks in a contrasting shoulder yoke. They've never had that before. So,
sounds like you got your game, huh?
Yeah, there's a mix. There's a mix of cheers and boos. They just did a video tribute for Ryan Kessler. A lot of cheers, some boos mixed in, but nice reception.
That white Ducks sweater, I think, would be improved tenfold if they got rid of the black shoulder yoke.
I think it works.
Breaking news: Stamkos just scored a goal.
Yeah, I know. So it's 4-2 now. So
yeah, I was more concerned about his fantasy hockey team. I think the Leafs will be fine.
Here's a question for you, Mike, because your team is highly schizophrenic so far this season.
Yes, they beat Boston 6-1 and then lose 8-0, 8-1 to Nashville. So
and we documented in great detail how the Toronto media reacts to any fluctuations of the Leafs. Beating the Bees 6-1, fucking right. We just gonna roll the Stanley Cup now. Oh no, we lost 9-2 to the Purds. What are we gonna do?
Fire everyone.
Right. So. Oh, and the Ducks scored. We're 2 minutes into the game. Andrew Cogliano, 46 seconds in.
Tell me Perry got a helper or something on that at least.
Perry was not on the ice.
Damn it. All right.
Actually, it was 37 seconds in. Way to go, Cox. Anyway, how long does Randy Carlyle actually last in Toronto?
Well, it depends on what day you ask.
Yeah.
Right, I know, but it's like you lose. It was 8-0 at home. Yeah. By the way, following the Maple Leafs Twitter feed that night, hilarious. Because they're just like, it's 4-0, 5-0. And then they stopped updating everything. And then all of a sudden, Mike Santorelli scores. It's 8-1.
I don't know. I've got to think it's some hapless MLSE intern they've got manning the Twitter account.
Just shut it down. Don't you dare tweet anything. Okay.
But they've got him locked in some cubicle. I don't know. It's just I'm just imagining it being a completely joyless experience to work on the Maple Leafs Twitter account. But in terms of Randy Carlyle, I mean, Greg's right in that it kind of depends on what day you ask. If this score holds and they end up beating Tampa 4-2, and
he's coach of the year if that happens.
Yeah, we're talking. It's 19 seconds left. If assuming the score holds, Maple Leafs win 4-2, then it's Tampa Bay's like the top team in the Atlantic. So then it becomes, the Maple Leafs have rebounded. It's like he's got them on the up and up. That's the unfortunate part about all of this, is that everything, it's not just the team that's so schizophrenic, it's the reaction to the team that's so schizophrenic. But my best guess for Randy Carlyle is that it depends on how they're doing by the All-Star break. If he's not, if come February they're still getting blown out, 6-1, 8-1, then yeah, he's gone.
What's the record right now? How many points do they have?
They are 9-8-2. They have 20 points.
Okay.
Soon to be 10-8-2. Yeah. Speaking of Randy Carlyle, here's my question, because I don't know this. Maybe you guys can answer this. Is Toronto talented enough that they should be better if they had better coaching? Is it a situation like that?
Well, see, it's weird, because the reason why I've kind of been so optimistic about Randy Carlyle is that I look at this Toronto roster and I go, is this team a team that can stand with like the NHL's elite? Can they go toe to toe with like the Blackhawks, for example? And I come away kind of saying, you know what? Honestly, they're not that good, but they've had success that sort of, in my opinion, goes beyond their talent level. And that's where I kind of come down on Randy Carlyle's side, is for all of his problems, he's gotten more out of this team than I think a lot of other people could.
I don't know. As someone that was had the personal experiences of Randy Carlyle, he reaches a point where the players tune him out.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's one of those guys that rides on you.
That's a problem. That's a problem if that happens, yeah.
Right. So
the Maple Leafs locker room doesn't seem to be a very harmonious place right now. From do you hear what Phil Kessel said to the media, to the Toronto media? I don't know why you guys have to talk to me. Stop talking to me every day.
Oh, Phil, that's not how this works, buddy.
Like, you're in the wrong city if you want the media to ignore you, Phil.
Yeah, no kidding.
And he's like, well, you guys know me. Not really. Oh,
well, you mean public masturbator Phil Kessel? That picture, that publicity picture he took with Team USA before last year's Olympics, that will go down with him forever. Just the look on his face of, hey, I'm Phil. What's up?
I mean, he just kind of had this sort of 1,000-yard, like he looked like a mentally challenged person who had just seen someone get murdered and like he doesn't know how to comprehend. Like, okay, that's pretty dark, but that
you're gonna clean that up.
like he had the stare of somebody who did not know how to fully comprehend what he had seen.
Stop talking about my sister.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
That was a really good one.
Thank you.
Breaking news, 17 all in Oakland now. The Chiefs have tied it up and they are on the move.
Go Chiefs, go. Please.
And here, Alex Smith back to pass.
So bad.
Rolls right. Looking. He's going to keep it. He tucks it in and he gains a yard. Big deal. Okay, go ahead.
I assume you guys have heard what happened to Jose Canseco this week.
Oh, yeah.
Well, did he shoot off another one of his fingers?
Well, okay, so...
Metaphorically, you could say that happened.
Jose Canseco, he got the finger reattached, supposedly.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that.
And he was playing in a poker tournament last week.
So this is going to end well.
So I'm going to read you a sequence of tweets from Mr. Canseco.
Okay.
Damn, I was playing in a poker tournament last night, and something crazy happened to my finger that I shot off and they put back on. I knew something crazy was going to happen with this damn finger. By the way, he's spelling damn, D-A-M, like a water dam.
Well, it's Twitter. It's an economy of letters and stuff, yeah.
I knew something crazy was going to happen with this damn finger because it felt like it was falling off. Okay, I might as well tell you. I was playing in a poker tournament last night and my finger fell off. My finger should have been amputated from the beginning. It was very loose with no bone to connect it. It was also smelling really bad.
So
this guy called my agent and sold him the video of my finger falling off. It looks kind of funny, LOL. Damn, I thought the guy was funny, meaning kidding. Just saw the video, OMG. Then Jose also tweeted out a picture of what his hand looked like with the finger when it was attached. Do you want to see what his hand looked like with the reattached finger?
Yes.
I don't. Go ahead, Mike. You can handle this. I don't like to see this kind of stuff.
Here you
Plus, I have to eat after the show, so yeah, see? That's why I didn't look.
He basically had a rotten finger sewed onto his hand.
Oh, no wonder it smelled.
Not only that, he's going to put it on eBay.
Of course he is.
Let's put the finger that fell off in the poker tournament on eBay for sale. The eBay ad will read, slightly used middle finger with 462 home runs that could use a string straw for drinks. Or a stirring straw for drinks.
Here's the thing, though. Really 462 home runs? He cheated, so that's not a legit 462. I don't want his finger unless it's legit.
In other kind of gross stuff, thing popped up on my Facebook, like the trending thing on the side today. Mm-hmm. Michael Phelps is currently in rehab for a DUI. But before he went into rehab, he started dating this woman off of, I believe it was off Tinder. Her name was Taylor Leanne Chandler.
Hey, baby.
Well, today she wrote a lengthy post describing her early life and revealing that she was born intersexed, which means that she was born with ovaries and a uterus, but no vagina, and born with a penis, but no testicles. So Michael Phelps in rehab, and she says that she hasn't gotten a chance to talk to him yet, apparently.
Well, he's got a surprise coming for him when he comes out, huh?
She said that she never lied to him. We were together for such a short period of time. I never had a chance to tell him about my life.
So what do they do? Did they, like... I don't want to get into the physics of this. Never mind.
Yeah, trust me, you don't. If you want to realize what kind of stuff that has an effect on you psychologically, at least, Greg. When I was in school in Arizona, I took a human sexuality class.
Okay.
And when you see it's like, oh, human sexuality. Oh, I got this class down. It's going to be easy.
Yeah.
Those classes are not what you think them to be.
Never are.
You went in thinking, bow, 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 bow.
Right. You think it's about human sex. That's not what it is.
Hey, baby.
But during that class, there was some discussions about certain things, and I actually fainted. And I'm not a squeamish person. Like I'll look at that stuff. I'll talk about some of this stuff. It might be really uncomfortable, but I can discuss about it. But like the way the teacher was describing some of this stuff, it just like all of a sudden I felt really lightheaded and I fell out of my chair. So
wow.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought about it for a second. I thought, I wonder, and then I thought, nah, we don't need to go down that road. I'll just take her word for it that they worked everything out and everything's good, and we'll just leave it at that.
The NHL is still in discussions about how it's going to format its World Cup of Hockey.
Oh, give it up, give it up, NHL, and just embrace the Olympics.
The idea that was being floated out this week was that there would be the big 6 countries of international hockey: Canada, the U.S., Sweden, Finland, Russia, and the Czech Republic. Would be there'd be 8 teams, and so those would be 6 of the 8. Because those are the teams that they know they could legitimately fill out completely with NHLers. The 7th team would be a team of European all-stars comprised from the rest of the countries like Slovakia, Switzerland, Latvia, Germany.
That
Slovenia.
sounds stupid.
It really does, yeah.
There's 2 ideas for the 8th team.
Jamaica's got to be one.
No.
Team Jamaica.
How great would it be if they decided to give Jamaica a team and filled it with nothing but NHL ringers? That would be so cool.
No, it would have to be Trinidad and Tobago if you know your Mighty Ducks movies history.
Oh, with the tie-dye jerseys?
Yes.
That
the
works.
Other team, the 8th team, would either be a Young Stars team, which is basically the young players that don't make the regular squads.
Right, so they're going to go out and get their asses kicked by the other 7.
Or a North American B team
consisting
of the U.S. and Canadian players that didn't make the cut for the regular team.
If you've got to jump through this many hoops, this many contortions just to put this thing together, I think right there it's telling you it's not worth bothering.
Well, the other thing is, like,
why not just have
any of these guys? Well, yeah, but then you have to figure out when you would do it and all that sort of garbage. But the other thing is, most of these guys, when they grow up like looking to play in international hockey, they want to play for Team Canada or Team USA, not against Team Canada or Team USA.
Yeah, nobody grows up thinking, I want to be on Team North America.
I want to be on the 8th team.
The reason the Olympics works and is popular in any of these countries is because national pride trumps all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you want to be the guy that goes out and beats your national team in some sort of World Cup?
This is how stupid this is. The idea, okay, there's going to be like a generic Team Europe of all of the other European countries. So
they're all the same. What does it matter?
Yeah, it's like, okay. Exactly. First, it's insulting on that level.
Funny and play hockey. It's fine.
But secondly, do you know how stupid that's going to look when you have when you have a game breakdown and it was like, oh, who played today? Oh, Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic played Europe. And like, the Czech Republic played Europe. Okay. Or what was the game? Oh, what game's on today? Oh, it's the United States versus North America.
North American B Squad.
See,
I hope they actually call it that. If they do this, they have to call the team the North American B Squad.
What do the jerseys look like?
Like, I want the logo to just be the outline of North America with a giant, impact font B in the middle.
Exactly.
With the hockey stick going behind it.
With the hockey stick, right.
Crossed hockey sticks.
Or a North American an outline of North America with, like, an angry face drawn on it holding a hockey stick.
There you go. Just to say,
North America.
The absurdity of this thing is the fact that my Jamaica team idea is better than their idea for that.
At least it would be at least the Team Jamaica would be an actual national team.
Right. God.
Like, okay, there's no shortage of hockey playing countries if you need 2 more teams. Latvia, Germany, Norway, hell, even France and Britain, which generally aren't powers. At least they have national teams. Australia's got a team, for fuck's sake.
Okay, there you go. There's your last 2 teams, Australia and Jamaica, just to make it fun.
Australia and Jamaica.
Right. And and to solve the problem of how you stock these two, Australia's got their own team, so they're fine. You stock the Jamaica team, you have a lottery. And you put everybody's name in it. Okay, we'll even leave it just limited to the Canadian and U.S. players. You put their names in, and you draw out 15 guys. Or what's the regular roster size, like 20?
24.
Okay, well, it's 24. Okay, so you draw out 24 names. That's your Jamaican hockey team.
No. If you're going to have Team Jamaica, it's got to be authentic. You got to get authentic Jamaicans. It's got to be the version of Cool Runnings.
That would be the best thing in the world, but I don't know that we can do that. All right, anyway.
The Vancouver Canucks are coming out with a new fashion jersey in their team store. And this is a jersey that a lot of us have been calling to actually been worn on the ice for many a year.
Oh, Johnny Canuck?
This is what it would look like in practice if they were to actually try and make a green...
No, that's Canseco's finger. Fuck me, I hit the wrong link. God damn it.
Well, now that you saw it, Greg, what do you think?
Jesus. It was
Greg,
nasty.
are you alive?
I'm fine. Okay, the Canucks jersey, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
So
Johnny
Canucks
Canuck on a green jersey.
I don't like it.
I'm not sure if I like the idea of a green jersey, but for the Canucks, but I like Johnny Canuck as a primary logo.
I'm not big on the green jersey. I don't like it. I don't like the green.
I don't think Johnny Canuck works as a main crest.
I think he's fine.
I think if they're going to do that, this one, it could be a little bigger and probably a little lower, but I don't think it works.
It's not what you would hope. With all the love that it gets, it really didn't turn out as great as you think it would, you know?
Well, the problem, the thing is, it's not symmetrical, I think, is the biggest problem. Like, it doesn't look...
It's very right-heavy.
It's right-heavy, and it doesn't really look... Like, even when it's perfectly centered, it's not centered. I really like the idea of Johnny Canuck. If they're not going to use Johnny Canuck as a logo, then they need to use the V with the Johnny Canuck head.
I think that works better.
I've solved this.
Okay.
You make Johnny Canuck smaller, put him in a roundel, we're good to go.
And it's got to say Vancouver Canucks Hockey Club around
Exactly,
it, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Established 1969 or whatever it is.
1970?
Yeah, whatever.
1970?
Yeah.
Nah, no, the Canucks, they base it off of, like, their WHL Canucks. And that they try to claim a lineage that they don't have. and then they'd pretend that they were always the Vancouver Millionaires, and so they can get a Stanley Cup banner.
Okay.
Because they're Vancouver, and that's just how they do things.
And then the last thing that I have, it's not really a tab, it's more of a... I'm asking for advice. This weekend, I am taking over sole control of the PA announcing for the Long Beach State ice hockey team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I want to know from you guys.
All right.
What are your favorite and least favorite things that PA announcers do, or things that in the in-game experience, whether it's certain music or songs or whatever, that you like or dislike?
Brass Bonanza for goals.
I don't have control over that. The players picked the goal and goal song.
Oh, okay. Things that PA announcers do that I don't like. This is going to seem really odd, and I'm not expecting you to take this advice because it's kind of stupid advice, but it's the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
Don't tell me to make some noise. I find it assumptive.
You don't like make some noise?
No.
What if the crowd is not making noise?
That's their problem.
It's like I'm just sitting there enjoying a hockey game, and like some asshole on a loudspeaker is like, make some noise. Like, fuck off.
The only time that I ever said that was we were going on a power play, so it was like, Long Beach fans, make some noise. Your 49ers are going on the power play.
I thought you're not supposed to call them that. Oh, no.
I don't know what he was going to say. I was going to fill it in, but I don't know what he was going to say.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Unruffled by that minor setback, we try phase 2.
Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we lost him again. Okay, we don't know what happened.
Really frustrating.
There
really
he is.
Frustrating because it goes away, and I'm talking, and it sounds like you guys are just talking over me, and it's like you guys are being very rude.
No, we're trying to fill in the dead air.
I know. Yeah, let's
Okay.
get out of here before the internet dies on me again.
Exactly. So that's going to do it for us. We'll see you next time right here on Basically a Sports Show. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.